Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Pensacola. Today is October the 27th, 2024. And I welcome you. Welcome you, whoever you are, where you come from, what you believe, what your experience has been, and what I hope it will be as you continue to enjoy our congregation. We have a few announcements, and I'm going to start with one we've heard several times, but it will end today because it's Tuesday. Fun and Fellowship would like to have the bands on the beach Tuesday the 29th. You go to the beach. We're not having it here, but we will meet at the Casino Beach Gulfside Pavilion to watch a band called The Lads. It's a British invasion tribute band. You bring a chair, bring your snacks, and Barbara Wright is coordinating it, and you're welcome to contact her and find out more information. This is also the month that Just Pensacola takes off. October is a big month to pull people together and have house meetings. And if you have not been invited to one and you would like to know more about it, you can contact Paula Montgomery. And it's an exciting time. I went to one not long ago. Not only do you learn about Just Pensacola, but you actually learn more about the people that you sit with every day and enjoy I don't know about every day, but every Sunday. And you enjoy them and get to know them at a more meaningful level. And then, of course, it is time for the big, I want to say reveal, but it's not really a reveal. It's the Halloween celebration today. Woohoo! Okay. And the Heathen Kindred group are once again organizing this trick-or-treat hunt, which will be today after the service, and they would like assistance. They need your help. They need baked goods, which I have seen come in, cupcakes, brownies, Rice Krispie treats, all those kinds of things. And we need people to stay after the service to help wrap up some of those baked goods and to set up the tables. And if you'll stay after the service to help reorganize this part of our congregation, moving the chairs and helping set it up with tables the way that is best to be able to serve the kids. We need you to be at the event also. Between 2 and 4, they need people to staff the tables, to be ushers, to watch the hallways, and help with the cakewalk and the raffles that Chris is organizing. Mark or Gay, 2 of our Heathen Kindred members, are organizing it, and they had wonderful support last year, and they would really appreciate more success this year. Because it is so successful, we had many children, so they'd like to do it again. And now we'll have some centering music. Chalice lighting is a ritual of this congregation, and we light it each Sunday. And as we light this chalice, we meet in the spaces between us: stillness, music, heard and unheard, the apparent void teeming with the you and I that overlap. In this one sacred living moment, we meet in the spaces between us. And our opening words this morning are by Alice and Joseph. Let us speak, just simply speak to one another. Listen and prize the inflections, never assuming how any person will sound until his mouth opens, until her mouth opens, until their mouth opens. Greetings are welcome in any language. And now if you can rise in body and or spirit, and we will remain standing after the hymn. It's in our gray hymnal, number 347, called Gather the Spirit, and our choir will lead us with the congregation. it's beautiful. You all are still standing. I didn't have to say a word. And we will recite our covenant together. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Please be seated. This is our time in our service that we have an opportunity to know a little bit more about each other, to share things that are closer to our hearts. And our first candle will be lit in honor and also concern of our world situation. And our next candle is, I'm going to read a card that was sent to the congregation as an appreciation. And Annabelle Miller, if you would just stand so that we can enjoy seeing you today. Thank you. She wants to thank those who helped with Beverly's appointments and their cards, their calls, their thoughts, and their prayers. Your kindness is greatly appreciated. Annabelle and Gregory Miller, in honor of her daughter, Beverly Miller. And now, if you have a joy or concern you would like to share with the congregation, you're welcome to stand on each side. He'll have some follow-up to that. May have heard a few sounds coming from over here that you may or may not recognize. We have a clarinet player that has joined us the last few weeks, Amir, and we appreciate more sounds and music from our music department. And Ray snuck in later than usual. Good to have you, Ray.
I have a market from 10 a.m., actually it was 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 p.m.
market, she had a market. It's no excuse. There's just no excuse. Welcome, Ray. Glad you're here. And we'll light one candle for those things on our hearts that are unspoken. And now it is a time for all ages. And this is a story, there's something about death and dying that we're going to honor today. And often it is actually nature that gives us the insight around death and dying and the cycles of our lives as well as the cycles of our seasons. And this is a story for children about dying by Joyce Mills. And it's called Gentle Willow. And you'll see a character up there that is a little red squirrel. And I'm going to read you the story. It was the time of spring, once again, when all the flowers bloomed in their brightest colors. It had been a long time since the big storm came right through the forest where Little Tree and her friend, Amanda, who is the red squirrel, had lived and played. Since that time of the big storm, many new friends had come to live in the forest. Little Tree and Amanda especially liked Gentle Willow, who lived across the pond. Each day, as the sun rose in the east, Little Tree rustled her leaves and sang good morning to all her friends. And each day, Gentle Willow invited the wind to blow through her branches, creating a sound like crystal chimes to say good morning back. Amanda liked playing with Gentle Willow. Her new friend gave her spaces to store her nuts. Amanda also liked to chase the big yellow butterflies who danced with Gentle Willow's long and danced gracefully together in her branches. One day, while Amanda was climbing the trunk of Gentle Willow, she noticed that her friend looked different. Her bark was lumpy and bumpy. Her leaves were turning brown, and her branches were droopy. "What's wrong, Gentle Willow?" Amanda asked. "I don't know," whispered Gentle Willow. "I just feel different." "Oh, don't worry," said Amanda. "Tomorrow, you'll feel better." But there were many tomorrows. They all came, and Gentle Willow still did not feel better. Amanda was worried. She ran around the pond and told Little Tree about her friend. "Remember when the big storm came and I was hurt?" said her little Tree. "Oh, yes, I remember," cried Amanda. "Well, the tree wizards came and fixed your broken branches. I'll go get them. Maybe they can help Gentle Willow too." And the two tree wizards that happened to be wise old owls, called Fix-em-Up and Imogene, came at Amanda's call. And Fix-em-Up checked Gentle Willow's branches and her lumpy, bumpy bark. Imogene looked closely at her roots. Amanda stayed close. The butterflies danced all around Gentle Willow, while Little Tree watched from across the pond. After all the checking, Imogene and Fix-em-Up went to the Knowing Rock by the pond just to talk, and Amanda followed. "What's wrong with Gentle Willow?" she asked. "Your friend is hurt, but in a different from the hurt that Little Tree had when the storm came," said Fix-em-Up. "Gentle Willow has something we have seen before in the forest, but we cannot make it go away." "What do you mean? What do you mean?" shouted Amanda. "You have to help Gentle Willow. You have to make her better. You're the tree wizards of the forest." "Oh, yes, that's who we are. We are the tree wizards. But there are some things that even tree wizards cannot fix. We cannot give Gentle Willow tree sap to help her feel better. We cannot give her herbs to help her feel comfortable. We cannot make her all better." "Well, what will happen to her?" asked Amanda. "Well, Gentle Willow will look different as time goes by," said Imogene. "She will need all of your help every day. We will sing her songs and tell her stories. Each of our songs and each of our stories will help her feel a special medicine called love." Amanda, Fix-em-Up, and Imogene went together to tell the little tree about Gentle Willow. "We're losing our friend," cried Little Tree. "What would we do without her?" "Well, you're right, Little Tree," said Imogene. "You won't know or see Gentle Willow as you know her now. She's going on a journey of changing forms. Human people call it dying. But all the years you have known Gentle Willow, she has been giving you special gifts." "Gifts?" said Amanda and Little Tree. "Oh, yes, special gifts, and they're called memories. Memories of her crystal chimes, memories of waving good morning, memories of laughing in the wind, memories of special times that you shared together. The time will come when all of us who live in the forest will sing a special song to say goodbye to Gentle Willow as we know her today. And the time will come when we recognize her in another way. Maybe it will be in a song from the wind. Maybe it will be in the dance of the butterflies. I don't know. But each of you will know in your own special way." Every day, Little Tree looked across the pond and rustled her leaves to sing songs to Gentle Willow. And every day, Amanda visited and told her stories. And one day, while Amanda was visiting, Gentle Willow began to cry. "I'm afraid to change," she said. "I want to stay the way I am. I want to stay a tree." And not knowing how to help her friend, Amanda sat quietly. She just listened and stayed close, all curled up on her branch, as Gentle Willow wept. And then Amanda remembered about songs and stories and love. And as she was trying to think of a good story, one of the big yellow butterflies fluttered by. And Amanda smiled, snuggled closer to Gentle Willow, and she began her story. Once upon a time, a long time ago, when Yellow Butterfly was little, she was something called a caterpillar. She was fuzzy and long and crawled on the ground all over the rocks and flowers. After a while, Yellow Butterfly felt something inside her changing. She did not know what the change would be. She grew tired and she needed to rest. That is how she came to you, Gentle Willow. She needed a branch to rest upon. Yellowflower began to spin a warm blanket around herself, and inside the blanket it was very dark. Yellow Butterfly felt her own fuzzy caterpillar self changing shape. And after it seemed a very long time, she felt ready to come out of that blanket. She did not want to be in the darkness anymore. So using her strength, yellow butterfly pushed herself out into the light. And there she was, not crawling on the ground anymore, not a fuzzy caterpillar anymore. Instead, she had silky yellow wings. Her whole form had changed. And as she flew, she found all the other butterflies that were like herself. When Amanda finished the story, she noticed that Gentle Willow had stopped crying. She seemed to be smiling, a quiet understanding. It was the time of spring once again, when all of the flowers bloomed their brightest colors. Little Tree and Amanda looked across the pond to the place where Gentle Willow once stood. "Look," said the Little Tree, "the big yellow butterflies have come back to dance." And Gentle Willow was gone. "Yes," said Amanda, "perhaps in a different way, they still hear the crystal songs of our friend, Gentle Willow." And at this time, if we could sing the children out.
Ready, children? 1, 2, 3, 4. Down bees, down bees. Lay your spirit on blossom round
And there will be a slide on the screen of our typical offering. And for you to know that many of the people, when we pass the basket, it looks empty because many people give on a regular basis and they send it in and electronically. We have the privilege of that. However, today we're not passing the basket at this time, and we are going to kind of sidestep and pretend that it is a fifth Sunday service in September that we did not have. Well, we had the Sunday, we did not have the offering. And we want to honor a fifth Sunday nonprofit, and we're going to honor them today. Paula Montgomery is going to speak about the Bail Project. And then we're going to pass the plate to give to the Bail Project.
Good morning. If you got arrested and couldn't pay bail, you would stay in jail until the time of your court date. It's a simple concept. The amount of money should be significant enough so that you're motivated to return for your court date and get your money back. That's the whole idea. It's pretty simple. The well-off can pay their bail, go home and wait for their court date, and get their money back. It runs into big problems when someone is picked up and arrested and does not have the $200 or $300 or whatever it is that they need for their bail. The court date may be several weeks away. It might even be months in the future. And meanwhile, you're sitting in jail. They lose their job. They cannot pay the rent. They cannot take care of the people who are their dependents. As you can tell, the real burden would fall on the poor. This is not justice. This is not equity. Each year, the Florida Supreme Court sets the bond schedule for the state of Florida. There are people who are not eligible for bail. Those are people who have, for example, committed murder or other violent crimes. And the amount of money set for certain crimes runs from $100 up to $75,000. Obviously, the more serious the crime, the higher the bail. The Bail Project is a nationwide 501c3 organization that uses charitable contributions to provide bail for qualifying people who cannot pay for themselves. It was started in 2017 by a lady named Robin Steinberg, who had been a defense attorney for 40 years and who discovered just how destructive of people's lives the cash bail system can be. Some of her clients who were innocent were pleading guilty just to speed the process along. There were a few notable cases I'm going to mention. In 2018, the Bail Project posted bail for a 33-year-old man in Los Angeles after he'd been accused of robbery, and the bail was set at $30,000. Bail Project paid this. When he returned to court, the case was dismissed. Imagine if he had sat in jail all that time, lost his job, all the rest of it. In San Diego, the Bail Project paid bail for over 700 immigrants in 2018. After the COVID-19 outbreak, the Bail Project set up a number of releases from the Cook County Jail in Chicago. In Louisville, Kentucky, the Bail Project assisted with the release of Black Lives Matter protesters by posting their bail. In Indianapolis, the Bail Project posted bail for 20 other protesters. A local Escambia County philanthropist, Julian McQueen, heard about the Bail Project at a TED Talk that he attended in 2018, and he worked to bring the project to Escambia County and Pensacola. Our branch opened in 2022, and since that time, the Bail Project has invested $300,000 in bail for Escambia County and saved local taxpayers over $300,000. The Bail Project locally has helped 350 people who were able to return home and to work while they waited for their court days. 95% of the people helped, even though their bail was paid and they didn't have a cent out of pocket. 95% of them showed up for their court dates, which shows you that the reason that money is not what brings them back. It's a sense of what's right. We're happy this Sunday to donate our offering to this fund, which is creating justice in our community. And thank you.
At this time, we'll have our message of the service. As with many Christian or religious or cultural rituals, several were originally initiated or they mutated from the early earth-centered pagan rituals. As we journey through now and November and December into January, we will celebrate and honor early rituals a lot of times in very similar ways around the world. But during this time, October the 31st to November the 1st, it's called many names, and it's celebrated in differing ways, but there are many commonalities, such as All Saints' Day, All Hallows' Day, the Feast of All Saints, the Day of the Dead, Hallowmas, and the pagan name of Samhain or Halloween. These days mark halfway between the light and the dark at this time of the year, while moving into the cooler days and the longer nights. Marks the beginning of celebrations of harvest and the fall crops that we enjoy often at Thanksgiving. In addition, we also honor the spirits of our ancestors and our deceased friends that can be uplifted with the earlier beliefs that the veil between the worlds is very thin at this time of the year. And sometimes we feel a closeness to those that came before us. In our UU tradition, we honor the members and friends who brought life to our congregation in a very meaningful way, just by their presence. We acknowledge those who have died in the past year, and we do that with this service. And then we place nameplates out on our memorial plaques that are in the memorial garden. And when you visit that garden, you will see that Jerry Donnelly, J.J. Jackson, and Charlotte Crane's plaques have been placed there. Later, Marianne Kelly's name will be placed, and we've ordered Beverly Miller, who was also a friend, and she will be added to the friend plaque. We acknowledge our ancestors and those that came before us, giving us the opportunity to pause, acknowledge them, and reflect, perhaps on those saint-like moments that they shared with us and we shared with them. And this is a time in our service that I want you to have the opportunity to sit for a moment, remember your loved ones, and we will pause. And I invite you to say their names aloud, given voice to those that came before us that still live on in our hearts. They can be members, they can be friends, they can be loved ones, any of our ancestors. And you may do that now. Barbara Goggins. John Hagman Jr. Lola Elizabeth Hagman. Now, we will say some words together. I will read some words, and your response is, we remember them. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we remember them. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, in the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, in the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer, in the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, in the beginning of the year, when it ends, when we are weary and in need of strength, when we are lost and sick at heart, when we have joys we yearn to share. So long as we live, they too shall live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them. Blessed be. And the first person who passed away was Charlotte Crane, writer, journalist, author, questioner, always intellectually curious, activist, superior Scrabble player, cat lover, caretaker. She was well known in Pensacola and beyond. Charlotte also opened to love late in her life to Robert Williams, and we often saw them together at many events and activities. Seeing her at various community events always brought joy. As a true journalist, she was inquisitive about everything. It was hard to get anything from her. She wanted to know about you, and doggone it if she didn't remember it. She asked those questions and was truly interested in the person before her. As a member of UUCP, Charlotte served on the Charitable Trust, and her monthly homemade once-a-month cookies were one of the much sought-after items at our auctions. She became known as the Cookie Lady. She always had cookies. Charlotte, Marianne Kelly, and May O'Shea were close friends, and May would often call them the Three Musketeers. J.J. Jackson. We didn't see J.J. Jackson at our, J.J. Jackson, I like saying that. We didn't see him often at the church in the most recent of times, but he was a true gentleman. He was always gracious and always welcoming. Even when his dementia had progressed to the point he no longer recognized many people, he would greet visitors warmly, no matter who they were. And he would generally remember Marcy Moreland, Hannah Laurie Musial, and Big Bill Kaplinger, and some other long-term friends from UUCP. He and his wife Evelyn were major contributors of their time, their talent, and their treasures. Both very active and supportive, beginning when the church was located on Scott Street over 50 years ago. I particularly like this picture because it had Charlotte and JJ in it, and Marcy Moreland squeezed in the middle of them. JJ was multi-talented. He had a wonderful singing voice, and he sang with our choir. And when he was first at Homestead, a retirement residence, he led others on the unit with song. He played the guitar, and they enjoyed one another. As an artist, many of us have pottery by JJ, and there are a couple of pieces here at UUCP. The chalice that we light at our service is one of those, and there's a framed pottery chalice that hangs in the foyer. JJ was always in a good mood. He was sunny and happy. He used his art skills often to make greeting cards for our congregation, to sign, to celebrate some member's special moment. The next person, Marianne Kelly. Marianne was a bright light each year as she returned from her northern home in Maine. She spent the fall and winter, warmer months, climate here. Marianne graced us with her quiet, peaceful presence, shared her gentle soul with a deep commitment to family and friends. Marianne attended circle dinners and activities, which is also how we got to know her. She was an avid reader, shared her love of books. As an opera devotee and fan of the arts, Marianne joined Hannah Laurie and others to bask in the delight of opera. Marianne always enjoyed being in Pensacola, and when we held our fall, usually first weekend in the month of October, and our spring, usually the first week in May, yard sales, she always showed up to help. She'd help set up for the sale whenever she was in town. She was a friend with Barbara Goggins, a former member, and good friends together with fellowship with other members and had good meals together. Marianne and May O'Shea were also good friends and kept in touch throughout the year. When Marianne would come, she also bought her cat on the airplane. She kept a vehicle here so that she could transport herself as an independent woman here in town. Our next person is a friend, Beverly Miller. Beverly relocated to Pensacola 8 years ago. She came here to help her mother, Annabelle Miller, a longtime member and friend of UUCP. She often accompanied her mother to church and was present for social events such as auctions and music events. I specifically chose this picture. It's very impressive how she managed her diagnosis and journeyed through that time. She was diagnosed with brain cancer while she was here. Members of our church began to help in transporting her as well. She was extremely open and honest about her diagnosis. She was always interested in others. She shared from her heart. She shared about her garden, and she was transparent about her end-of-life journey. This is actually a Facebook picture she posted. She also accepted care, and she accepted help from others. She was a member of our pagan group, Heathen Kinship, which meets here at our church. Annabelle shared with me that their family of 9, family and friends, gathered last week to honor Beverly in our memorial garden and to spread her ashes. May we remember our gentle willows that have been in our lives and continue to resurface inside of us. And when you're ready, we will stand for our closing hymn, number 354. For the sorrow, may gentle songs of solace bring lasting healing to our hearts and minds. For all of us here in our community and our world, may we sing to the morning and the evening stars as they guide our journeys. May it be so.